Jai Hind everyone. The proposed course Regional Geography of India. Under that course, today the module number 3, the Great Plains, we would be discussing here. Uh, in this topic, we would be covering the Great Plain, its introductory part, then formation of Great Plains, then sub-regions of Great Plains. Under that topic, we would be covering Bhabar, Tarai, Bangar, Khadar and deltaic regions. Beside that, in this topic, we are going to also cover mesoregions of Great Plains like Rajasthan Plain, Punjab Haryana Plains, Ganga Plain and Brahmaputra Plain. Expected learning outcomes are here. Learners will be able to relate tectonic activities and the formation of the Great Plains. Learners will be able to interpret the sub-regions as well as mesoregions of the northern plains. Learner will be able to appreciate the important contribution of plains towards the human existence. Note, learner must have previous knowledge of the conceptual part terminology as foredeep, rift valleys, elevation process and formation of great Himalayas. The Great Plains. We could see here in this India's relief that Great Plains which lie south of the Shivalik range, that is the outer range of the Himalaya, and separated from the Himalaya by HFF, Himalayan Front Fault. It is a transitional zone. The northern plain is a transitional zone between the Himalayas of the north and peninsular of the south. It is a gradational plain formed by alluvium deposits of the Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra and their tributaries. It stretches for about 2400 km from west to east, width varying from 90 to 100 km in Assam, 160 km in Jharkhand, 200 km in Bihar, 280 km near Allahabad, where 500 km width is there in Punjab region. Average depth of alluvium in the southern side of the plain varies 1300 to 1400 meters, while towards the north, that is Shivalik, it increases. The maximum depth of over 8000 meters in the Haryana region can be seen. Possible reasons for the origin of this division are elevation of the foredeep, infilling of a rift valley, recession of the sea and the remnants of the Tethys. Let's look into one by one. Elevation of the foredeep. As per Edward Swiss, foredeep was formed in front of the high crust waves of Himalayas as they were checked by the solid landmass of the peninsula. This foredeep was like a synclinorium, a large syncline with a number of small anticline and synclines which had gentle slope towards north and steep gradient toward the peninsular region. The elevation of this foredeep led to the formation of great plains by the river descending and depositing from the Himalayan region. Limitation of this concept was that this theory was unable to give suitable explanation to this uneven slope of the bed of the plain and crustal connection between the Himalayan region and peninsular block through the Great Plains. The second thought is here in filling of the Rift Valley. According to Sir G. Burrard, during the formation of Himalayas, a rift valley was formed due to the sinking of a portion of land between two parallel faults. This rift valley was filled up by the debris brought down by the Himalayan rivers. In order to support his argument, Burrard has cited examples of the formation of similar rift valleys in the peninsular region, especially the Narmada and Tapi rift valleys. Limitation: no such giant valley has been found within the length of 2400 km and the width over 500 km ever been formed by crustal down wrapping. The next one is remnant of the Tethys. According to this view, after the upheaval of the Shivalik and remaining part of the Tethys was left as a large trough which was joined by the Bay of Bengal in the east and the Arabian Sea in the west side. Rivers from the Himalayan deposited their load in this trough. Because the Himalayas were rising during the time, rivers experienced rejuvenation and greater quantity of eroded material increased the thickness of the alluviums. Prolonged infilling of the central part of the trough, the sea located in the east and the west started receding and the level plains came into existence. Whereas recession of the sea talk about during the Eocene period, the peninsular India was joined together with Africa. During that time, there was one sea extending from Assam Valley to Irrawaddy River and another from Iran and Balochistan to Ladakh region. During the last part of Eocene periods, arms of the Western Sea extended up to Punjab. Due to rise of Himalayas during the Miocene period, this sea started receding by gradual deposit of sediment from the Himalayas rivers. After a prolonged period of sedimentation and subsidence, these gaps were filled, resulting in the formation of the northern plains of India. The limitation of this study, which is given by the Blandford, the theory, however, fails to give convincing arguments so far as the region of central portion of the plain is concerned. Now we are going to see the sub-regions of the Great Plain. In this figure, we can see that after the Himalaya, as we were moving from Himalaya to Great Plains area, we would find the layers of the deposition. The first one is Bhabar, the second one is Tarai, third one is Bangar, where along the rivers you can find Khadar, and the one more reason mentioned is here, that is the deltaic region. So we are going to look into each and every regions one by one. So the Bhabar plain, it lies south of the Shivalik range from west to east, covering Jammu to Assam. Its width varies 8 to 15 km, consisting of gravel and unconsolidated sediments. The porosity is so high that most of the small streams disappear in the Bhabar tract. It is not suitable for the cultivation of crops. Only big trees with large roots thrive in this region. The Tarai region, it lies south of the Bhabar tract. Width vary from 15 to 30 km and it is wider in the eastern part of the Great Plains. The Tarai is marshy tract infested with mosquitoes and zones of excessive dampness, thick forest and having rich wildlife. In Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab and Jammu Kashmir division, Tarai forests have been cleared for the cultivation of crops as increased due to the increasing of population. Region is suitable for the cultivation of sugarcane, rice, wheat, maize, oilseed, pulses and fodder. Moving ahead. The next one is Bangar or Old Alluvial Plains. It represents the upland alluvial tracts of the Great Plains of India. The Bhabar formation were deposited during the Middle Pleistocene period. It contains nodules of impure calcium carbonate, which is known as kankar. It lies above the flood limits of the river and soil is dark in color, rich humus content and having the most productivity. In relatively drier region, Bhangar also exhibits small tract of saline and alkaline efflorescence known as Ray, Kalar or Thur regionally. The Khadar Plains, it is now new alluvium tracts along the courses of the river known as Khadar or Beth lands, enriched by the fresh deposit of silt every year during the rainy season. This tract is consisting of sand, silt, clay and mud. The Delta Plains, it covers almost 1.9 lakh square kilometer in the lower reaches of the Ganga river. The deltaic plain consists mainly of old, new mud and marshy land. Its upland regions are called as chars, while marshy areas are known as bills. The Sundarban deltaic region is one of the remarkable features of this deltaic plain. The mangrove forest is very much prominent in this deltaic plain area. Mesoregions of the Great Plains. On the basis of geoclimatic and topographical characteristic, the Great Plain is divided into the Rajasthan Plains, Punjab Haryana Plains, Ganga Plain, which is constituting Upper Ganga Plain, Middle Ganga Plain, Lower Ganga Plain, and the last one is lying eastern side of India, that is the Brahmaputra Plain. In this figure, the map of India is shown here, and we can find it out. The distribution of the plain, we started from the west, Rajasthan plain, Punjab Haryana plain, the Ganga plain, which is divided into three parts, that upper Ganga plain, middle Ganga plain, lower Ganga plain, and this one is the Brahmaputra plain. Let's go ahead one by one. The Rajasthan plain. The plains of Rajasthan lie west of the Aravalli, and that covering almost 1.75 lakh square kilometer. It has general slope from northeast to southwest. A substantial part of this plain has been formed by the recession of the sea, is evidenced by the presence of saltwater lakes. The Sambhar lake, occupying an area about 300 square kilometer, which is situated northwest of Jaipur city. It has several dry beds like Saraswati and Dristavadi, which indicate the fertility during the previous time. Luni is the only river which reaches Arabian Sea through the masses of run of Kutch. The greater part of the Rajasthan plains are desert, covered with longitudinal and transverse sand dunes and barkhans. A large number of playa lakes occur in this basin area. The second one is the Punjab Haryana plains. The extension of Punjab Haryana plain is 27 degree 30 minute north to 32 degree 30 minutes north latitudes and 73 degree 5 minute to 77 degree 36 minute east longitudes. The plain is stretching over 650 km from northeast to southwest and 300 from west to east, and it covers almost 1.75 lakh square kilometer and separated from the Delhi ridge. Presence of lower Kudappa rock like granite in the southern part, quartzite rock found in the north of Alwar. Tertiary formation are prominent along the south foothills of the Shivalik range. It is agglutinational plain deposited by the Satluj river, Byas river and Ravi river. Satluj, Byas river, and the boundary you can show that Ravi river, the naturally separated boundary is there. Punjab Haryana plains continuing. The height of the plain is 300 meter near Jammu and 200 meters southeast, whereas middle part of this plain is comparatively lower than east and west of, as well as north and south side. The general direction of slope is northeast to southwest as well as the south also. The main topographical features of this plains are bluff, locally called as dhaiyas, that is the sand dunes in interflow basins as high as 3 meters or more, and the floodplains of Khadar belt is also known as baits. The plain may be further categorized into Badi Doab between Byas and Ravi river. The Badi term is given by that only. They are taking B for Byas and R for Ravi. Beast Doab between Byas and Satluj. Third one is Malwa plain. Fourth one is Haryana Bhiwani Bagar, that is the south and southeast part of this region. The Ganga plain. The Ganga plain lie between the Yamuna catchment in the west to the Bangladesh border in the east, which covers 3.57 lakh square kilometer. It is about 1400 from west to east and has an average width 300 kilometer north to south. Ganga plains can be subdivided into the following sub-regions, what we have seen earlier: the upper Ganga plain, middle Ganga plain and lower Ganga plain. Let's go one by one. Upper Ganga plain extended from 24 degree 15 minute north to 30 degree 17 minute north latitude and 73 degree 3 minute to 82 degree 21 minute east longitude. The upper Ganga plains includes the Ganga Yamuna Doab, Rohilkhand division and Agra division. Elevation of this region is 100 to 300 meters. A unique feature is presence of bhoor, undulating aeoline sandy deposits. Region is devoted to crop like sugarcane, rice, wheat, maize, pulses, mustard, fodder, vegetables, orchards. So coming on the middle Ganga plain area, that extended 24 degree 30 minute to 27 degree 50 minutes north latitudes and 81 degree 47 minute to 87 degree 51 minute east longitudes. Almost sprawling over an area of 1.44 lakh square kilometer, covers central and eastern part of the UP to Muzaffarpur and Patna of Bihar plains. It has thick alluvial deposit with less concord formation. Gandak and Kosi are the main left tributaries, whereas Son is an important right hand tributaries of the Ganga. The next one part of the Ganga plain, lower Ganga plain, 24 degree 25 minutes to 26 degree 50 minute north latitudes and 86 degree 30 minute to 89 degree 58 minutes east longitude is the extension of the lower Ganga plain. It stretches from the Patna in the west to foot of Darjeeling Himalaya in the north to Bay of Bengal in the south, covering 0.81 lakh square kilometer. The lower part of this region is characterized by the presence of Sundarban Delta. It is drained by Mahananda, Ajay, Damodar in the west side and Tista, Jaldhakia, Sankos in the east that join the Brahmaputra. In the extreme southwest, Kasai and Subarnrekha is the main rivers of the lower Ganga plain. The Brahmaputra plain. It extended from 25 degree 44 minute north to 27 degree 55 minute north latitudes and 89 degree 41 minutes to 96 degree 2 minutes east longitude. The Brahmaputra plain is stretching over an area almost 0.56 lakh square kilometer and 720 kilometer is its length, whereas its width varying almost 80 kilometer. This depositional flat plain surrounding by high mountains in the all side except western part. Elevation of this plain ranges from 30 to 310 meters. Due to low gradient of Assam plain, it is highly braided and that's why this river having numerous islands. And Majuli is the largest river island in the India, which is the resultant feature of the braided stream. The second in the world after Marajo Island of Amazon River. There is a marked difference between the physiography of north and south banks of the Brahmaputra river. The northern tributary descending from the Arunachal Pradesh and Assam hills are having the series of alluvial fans which obstruct the course of the tributaries and develop meanders as well as the levees. Southern bank is less uneven and less wide. Dhansiri, Kopili, through headward erosion have almost isolated the Mikir and Rengma hills from the Meghalaya regions. The valley of Assam may be divided into Upper Assam and the Lower Assam. The district which covers the Upper Assam like Lakhimpur, Dibrugarh, Jorhat and Tejpur, whereas Nagaon, Dhubri, Golpada, Barpeta, Kamrup, Nalbari are constituting the Lower Assam plain. Swamps and marshes are numerous in north part of the Lower Brahmaputra plain. The plain is very famous for the tea plantation and two national parks are here, Kaziranga and Manas. With the references, the discussion has carried forward. So thank you very much. Have a good day.